Like your body's in the room, but you're not really there. Like you have empathy inside, but you don't really care. Like you're fresh out of love, but it's been in the air. My best repair. A little bit tired of trying to care when I don't. A little bit tired of quick repairs to cold. A little bit tired of sinking. There's water in my boat. I'm barely breathing, trying to see of those.
Hello all my beautiful, wonderful people. My name is Lexi and welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be talking about love in deep space. There is a dog in here, so if you hear a lot of him walking around in the background, she's a very anxious dog. She'll probably be walking around a lot. Today we will be filming my love in deep space video finally. If you've been watching Kaylee's, she's mentioned that we were supposed to do a collab. I'm very late. I got very busy with school and stuff, and I'm just very behind on videos and stuff. Like, I don't know the last time I posted a video. It feels like forever ago. So we are catching up now. The first video is going to be Zayne, because that's what I originally told her I was gonna do, because we were supposed to do our favorite characters first. Zayne is no longer my favorite character. It would be Caleb now. Love that man. But this is not about Caleb. I'm keeping to our schedule or our regularly scheduled programming, because one, I'm behind anyway, and two, because I feel bad for Zayne. But yeah, so I was originally going to do a photo card binder like Kaylee, but because we are living at my family's house and our space is small, I decided I didn't want to add any more binders to my collection if possible. So instead, we are going to do journaling pages because it is what I do best. And we are just going to chat about the lads boys. Specifically, I decided I wanted to talk about their memory cards, their memories. Kaylee went a little bit of a different route with it. Kaylee kind of talked more about them as like individuals, their personalities, and more of like the specific like general specifics about each of the boys. So I definitely suggest you want, or if you can, to maybe like watch Kaylee's videos first. I think she's doing Zayne next. She just posted she's so far ahead of me, it's not even funny. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. She's already posted, also these are from Kaylee, and I'm going to use them in the spreads a little bit since I'm not doing the photo card binders anymore. But yes, yeah, so she's already done Xavier, who is her favorite, because like I said, originally we were going to, also I also want to apologize and put a disclaimer. I don't usually talk in my journaling videos like as I'm journaling, so this might be a little weird, or if I go silent and there's like cuts, it's because I was too quiet and I was like, there's no point in me leaving this like in here. But yeah, so she did Xavier already, she did Silas, and she just posted Raphael. I know she said she's gonna do Zayne next, and then I think we both, because originally when we decided to do this collab, Caleb wasn't officially like a character yet, like he hadn't officially like been a part of the game yet. He's now a part of the game, so we decided to do Caleb last because we came up with the order before. My order is going to be slightly different than hers because, like I said, the original plan was for us to do our favorite character, like our individual favorite characters first. So Kaylee was did Xavier first, and I'm doing Zayne first. And then also I cut out pictures to use for this, but they're all in here. Specifically, I printed out the little memories and cut them out. Though I'm kind of regretting cutting them out and just like sticking them in this back pocket of doom because they're a little hard to get. We're going to be specifically talking about 4 memories for each of the boys. I picked out the ones for Zayne and Caleb already. How does that not feel like the right amount? Zayne. I'm missing 2. Oh, wait, no. They're in this back corner. I found one. That's why Kaylee did Xavier first. That's why I'm doing Zayne first. And then I'm going to do Silas next. Then I'll do Raphael, just like Kaylee, and then I'll do Xavier, and that's why she's gonna do Zayne next, and then we'll end off on Caleb. So yeah, speaking of which, let's sort out these pictures. So we're gonna keep this one for Zayne. I found this fan art, and they did one for all of the boys, so I printed out all of them because I wanted to make sure I use them in all of their spreads because they're just so cute. We need just the Zayne memories, so here are his 4 that I chose. Though now that I'm looking at them, I wish I made the memories just a little bit bigger. But we're gonna look through these and pick out a couple of these to use. I do feel a little bad that I'm gonna like cut these up and stuff because they're really pretty. I hadn't opened them yet, but when I was watching Kaylee like go through the Xavier ones, they're like nice and like hollow. They're like really pretty. Also, there's so many. I'm thinking about getting little collect books for the lads boys though, because I made this like little collect bookshelf for on my bookshelf because I'm becoming a little bit obsessed with collect books. And I thought a little collect book for each of them could be cute. And it wouldn't take up that much space, especially since I've already made since I've already technically made for the collect books. As we go through this, I'll give a little bit of background into it. Definitely watch Kaylee's first video. She gives so much background. Like, she did so good in like explaining the game and talking about the lore and stuff. I'm not very good at explaining games or books or things like that. Also, that's so cute. So I don't think I will do too much of that because again, I kind of suck at it. But also, this is so ironic if you know the game because he's cutting the apple and Caleb's representative thing is an apple, and Zayne and Caleb canonic like in game like not even Loki, they just don't like each other, and it's just so funny to me. But yeah, so Love in Deep Space is an otome game. It's not Japanese. It's not a Japanese otome game. It is a Chinese otome game, but it is still at its heart an otome game. I've played quite a few otome games in my lifetime. Oh my gosh, that's so cute with the little seal. You'll see if there's anything with the seal, we're probably gonna use it for the spread, honestly. So it is an otome game. It's probably one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite. Yeah, it's my absolute favorite otome game that I've played. I don't know why I was trying to say it might not be. No, it is. It's just so good. The animation in the game is really good, and the storylines are very interesting, and they don't just focus on like the love aspect of the otome game. Like, the otome game really like sets up the world. Oh my gosh, the backs of the cards are so cute. So cute. Their like powers and their evolves and stuff, which is a whole lot of words and jargon. Oh my god, it's the one with the seal. I didn't pick this memory, but we'll talk about that in a second. But oh my gosh, it's the seal. Sorry, now I'm distracted because now I'm like trying to pay better attention because I feel like I haven't pulled out very many to try to use. Some of these ones, like, I don't have the actual memory for Zayne for, which kind of makes me jealous because I got into the game right when Silas came out. That's when a friend of mine reached out to me. Okay, hold on. First, backtrack. I'm so bad at this. This is gonna be so hard for me to like keep focus and like make sure I stay on track while we're doing this. Maybe we'll do like a chibi side, like a little mini Zayne side, and then we'll do like canon Zayne. Does that make sense? And then I have an idea for how we're gonna attach the memories and do that in the middle. I think it's gonna be really cute. For context, I got into the game around the time Silas came out, so that was around August, September last year. A friend of mine who had already been playing the game for a while reached out to me and was like, "You like otome games, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I've been like begging people to start playing this game with me and nobody will do it. Please." And I was like, "Sure, why not? I haven't played an otome game in a while. Like, let's give it a chance. Like, I'll give it a chance with you. Like, we can try it, see how it goes. If I like it, you know, I'll keep playing it. If I don't like it, I don't know where to start. I guess we just start cutting and hope for the best. You know, if I don't like it, I just will stop playing." And she was like, "Listen, as long as you give it a chance, I don't even care at this point. I just need somebody to try to play this game with me." And I was like, "Okay, I got you." So I downloaded it, which, by the way, if you want to play the game, it does require like a lot of storage. Originally I was playing it on my iPad because, you know, like, it's bigger, like I can see it a little bit better, but like the storage like the amount of space you need, the file space you need for it was just like killing my iPad. And I do all my editing on my iPad, and my iPad was just not happy about it. And so I would constantly have to delete it and re-download it, and downloading it is such a pain. And then for Christmas we got new phones, and so now I play it on my phone because I have more storage on my phone, and like, oh my gosh, it's so much better. But yeah, so I started playing that way. And originally when I started playing, I wasn't really attached to anybody. I do and I still say that the storyline is fairly interesting. It's basically set in this like dystopian world, kind of like a dystopian world, or I guess not really dystopian, more just like sci-fi-esque fantasy kind of world, where essentially we have gone into space, and as humans we have kind of evolved. Some of us have evolved to have what they call evol, and these evils are kind of like powers. Everybody's is slightly different, and the reason we can use them is because there are these things called protocors, and which all of that is still a little unclear and hard to follow in my personal opinion. We're still getting a lot of the main storyline because, again, the game hasn't been out for that long and they're releasing updates. It's one of those ones where they like give you a little bit and then they work on some more stuff, and then they give you a little bit and they work on some more stuff, and then they give you a little bit. So we're constantly getting like updates and like new information, and it's really fun because like you can tell that these game developers, one, really care about the story that they're crafting, and two, they want you to enjoy the game. They don't want you to just like they want you to savor the game. They don't want you to just like, which I think a lot of us would do, is like just get into it and just like devour it and do everything in one go and not care or like really understand or take in the story, which is something that I appreciate because I have a tendency, like if I get obsessed with something, that I like binge it and then I'm like, oh my god, it's over, and like what do I do with my life, and like have an existential crisis. So this game kind of like forces you to take it slow, which I kind of like. I appreciate that about the game. And something else is their attention to detail in the story. They want to craft like a well-rounded story. Like you can tell that it's, yes, it is still an Otome game. Like you still can like, you know, flirt with and hang out and, you know, romance, if you will. But it's not even like, I wouldn't even say like stereotypical romance. Like Otome games, it's not so like in your face. Like it's a lot more subtle. It's almost like real dating, because it's more about going on dates and like, you know, hanging out and like seeing your compatibility and growing your compatibility, and it's really fun in that aspect. Also, I really like that I did that and added that, because again, it just adds to it feeling like really genuine and well thought out and not just like a cash grab. It's a little bit of a cash grab because it is a gacha game, and that is just the nature of gacha games, is that they are inherently cash grabs. Do I fall for it? A little bit. Do I play mostly free to play, but I do spend a little bit of money. I specifically spend money on Caleb. Before Caleb was introduced into the game, I didn't really spend money. I didn't actually. I was completely free to play. So if I didn't pull it through my free pulls or through my diamond pulls, it was just not happening. But then Caleb showed his face, and now I spend money. Granted, he hasn't been in the game that long, so I haven't spent that much money. I'm so sorry to all the other girlies who have spent so much money. I also kind of want to incorporate this. My thought is to tear it, but I'm so scared because it's so pretty that I don't want to regret tearing it. So these little chibi ones with the seal, because they're all kind of like sideways, I don't really want to use all three of them. I think I'm just gonna use one of them. I think we're gonna use this one because I like the little seal right there. And then I think I want to use this one right here. Maybe right here. Maybe we'll... No, because then it covers up that. So maybe we not use that one. Maybe we look for different chibi ones that we can actually like cut and manipulate to work in ways we want them to work. That's kind of the game. It's still not that specific. We're gonna get into more talking about Zayne now. So Zayne was my first like choice in the game. He was the one that I decided was my favorite. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm a simple woman. I love seals. I love seals a lot. Like a lot. a lot. This is something you guys might know about me if you have been on my channel for any amount of time. I love me a good seal. I specifically like harbor seals, but I accept any seal. Zayne's kind of like representative seal would be an Arctic seal, which makes sense because his evol is ice or snow. So this one's really cute. I don't remember that one. This one's fun. Yeah, see, something more like these because I can manipulate them a little bit more to kind of get... But yeah, so Zayne's evol is like ice or snow. I would say more ice than snow, but he can technically do snow things too. Does this make sense? Another big aspect of the game, and my favorite aspect of the game, is the memories. I think the memories are so cool. I think it's such a fun little, like... Also, if you're like into witchy stuff like I am, it's the concept of like the twin flame and like remembering your past life with your twin flame, how like you are always destined to be together, you will always reincarnate at the same time, like you will always have a story together. And I think it's so interesting and so fun how they took this concept and like turned it into this like romance game, but also like something deeper, because there are a lot of like also social things that are being discovered, like talked about, because they're violation of bodily autonomy that we're kind of like talking about, because the bad people in this game are really bad, like really, really bad. Don't like them, hate them. Not Onakindness, because they led us astray with that. They made us think that Onakindness was the bad guys, but Silas is not the bad guy. It is 10,100% million% ever. I'm so sorry, Kaylee, I'm cutting these. Yeah, so my favorite aspect of the game is memories. And one of the first memories actually the first memory that I got was a Zayne memory, and it was also the first one I played because I was like, what are these cards? Like, I had played other Otome games where you got cards, but like you just kind of collect cards. They do involve fighting sometimes, especially in the like mobile ones. I'm thinking specifically of Twisted Wonderland. I played for a little while. I didn't really like it. I don't like rhythm games. Like anything that has a rhythm game to it, I usually don't end up playing for very long. So I played Twisted Wonderland for a little while, but I couldn't stand the fact that you had to do the rhythm game, and I couldn't stand that. So I ended up not playing it for a while. So I was just expecting the cards to work and like help you in battles. And I loved, one of the other things that I love about Love and Deep Space is the battles are like legit battles. Like you actually have to fight.
Concentrate. This is dangerous. Look after yourself. It's your turn.
No problem.
I'm impressed by your skills.
Me too. My turn. You won't escape.
Hey, have you ever heard of a hat trick?
It's very noisy.
Watch out, it's gonna blow.
Juries within league and recover. Be careful. Seize this. I will silence you.
No problem.
It can't even be considered a...
So you.
Watch out, it's gonna blow.
Careful now.
On it, pal.
Threats are only temporary.
Melting like snowflakes.
In this Otome game, because your character, your MC that you play is canonically a hunter, which they fight these things called wonders, which are like demons. Well, I guess they're more actually like aliens. They also have basically the adapted to have abilities to use these ether cores and the protocores, which, like I mentioned earlier, is what gives them their evolve or their power. So these are like basically powerful bad aliens that try to kill and harm humanity per the normal of that sort of thing. You know, we always got to try to get rid of humanity. We suck, so you know, can't really blame them sometimes. Most of the time I don't actually. Just kidding, but also yeah, so they do help you in battle, and you know, the more you level up the cars, like the more useful they are for you to in battle. But also on the flip side, the memories are actual memories. Like, you will be able to remember something, whether it's in like the current timeline or each of the boys have like a past lifetime with MC. And I think it's just like really cool. Like, again, I said, like, but the first memory I played for Zayne, I'll put it up on the screen. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head because I do not have them like memorized like that. It's a current timeline, and it's when you meet Zayne again, like after, because you got, with Zayne you are childhood friends, and I am sucker for like a lovers to childhood friends like storyline. Like, I am a sucker, which also explains why Caleb is also my favorite. You met up with Zayne again, you're becoming friends with him again, or getting closer again, and you see him at this cafe, and when you go to this cafe, you know, he's sitting there alone, but you see him making this like little snow cat because he saw this cat that walked past the window. But Zayne is known to be like the kind of like cold, and there's reasons for it, but he is very cold and stoic, and so he doesn't like to really show his emotion. And so as soon as you like catch him, he like gets rid of it, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, like, what cat?
I promise you, this restaurant is really good.
You always say that.
'Cause it's true.
That will be all. Thank you.
I'm starving. And I forgot my lunch again.
Sorry, we're full up right now. Would you mind waiting?
You're out of tables?
Do you want to go watch a movie
so-
after lunch?
Sure, as you wish.
There's this new sci-fi movie that's
Huh?
out, I think.
Zayne?
Let me check.
You know each other? Maybe you can share a table.
I don't make snow cats. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. You crazy. And MC is like, bruh, I literally just freaking saw you do it. And he's like, what? No, you didn't. And I think it's hilarious. But also in that scene, or like during that part, MC and him like keep talking, and there's other cute things that happen, blah blah blah. But at the very end, MC mentions that like he teased her after when they did something, and he left 3 snowballs on her doorstep, and he was like, you thought they were just 3? Oh, because they went to an aquarium together as a kid. He was like, you just thought they were 3 snowballs, which I'm offended by. But anyway, as a seal girly. But he was like, you know, those 3 snowballs weren't just 3 snowballs, they were actually like a seal. And he like makes it for her again, and she's like, oh my god, it was, I'm so sorry, like I misunderstood. And he's like,
Do you remember when we went to the aquarium together? To see the seals? I was so mad when that seal threw ice at me. And then you sent over a bunch of snowballs the very next day, just to mock me.
To mock you?
You left them in a box in front of my door. Looked exactly like this ice cream. All meticulously arranged, too. How time flies. Everything changes. Except for those 3 snowballs.
Just forget they even exist. You can pretend I never gave them to you.
So, you're not gonna tease me anymore?
Or maybe I was never teasing you in the first place.
That's...
Please, Try not to mistake it for some snowballs this time.
A seal? Then, could those snowballs also be?
But you get like this little seal, and he's so precious and he's so cute. He's like a little snow seal, and because it's made with Zayne's like powers, it doesn't melt, and so you can put it in your room because you have like a room you can decorate in Love and Deep Space. And I just have my little seal on a bookshelf, and so that's why Zayne became my favorite, because he gave me a seal, and that's all I need in life. Zayne became my favorite, but then I fell in love with him for other reasons. I think Zayne is very, very sweet. I think you have to kind of get past the like very I'm a stoic, like, because he's very serious. He is very like in doctor mode, very focused and cold at first, but as you get more memories and as your affinity, because you can do like dates with them in the game, and you can play this game called Kitty Cards, which Shy ruined for me because I thought I was really good at it, and then she made me aware that I wasn't, and then I played against Zayne after I told her, no, I am getting better, I am good, and then I played against Zayne and literally had my ass handed to me. I had like 12 points and he had like 30 something points, and I was very upset. Anyway, that's not the point right now, but you can earn affinity, and as you earn affinity, you know, it's basically like your like relationship level with them is increasing, and so as you get to like start increasing your relationship level with Zayne, you start to like see different sides of him and realize that really he is like Zayne is actually pretty funny, which I think is like often like not talked about. I feel like people just are like, oh yeah, Zayne, you know, like he's like cold and stoic and stuff, but he's also very like romantic in his like own way. He tries his best, and I just find it very sweet. But as your affinity grows with him, he starts to be like kind of sarcastic, and I fucking love it. Like, you'll do something and he'll be like, oh, so that's what we're doing now, like we're just blatantly disregarding rules because we think we're better than them. And I'll be like, Zayne, shut your mouth, like leave me alone, let me do my thing, okay? I'm doing my best over here. But also he will support the shenanigans. He might be like, oh my god, are we really doing this? But then like we'll also be like, okay, well, if you're doing that, I guess I'm doing that too. It's just like MC will be like, but you just said I shouldn't do that, so why are you gonna do it with me? And he's like, well, if you're gonna be stupid, you can't do it alone, basically. And I love that. I love that energy. That's the kind of energy we live for, okay? Okay, I think that's kind of cute. But yeah, so that's kind of why I chose Zayne in the beginning. It might be a superficial reason, but it's an otome game, okay? Okay, I don't need a deep reason to love a character. But yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about Zayne. I will say that if you decide to play the game, and you're like unsure about Zayne, I guess we'll go ahead and start talking about his the memories that are my favorite, other than the seal one, which I should have printed out, but I only chose 4 for Caleb, so I decided for everybody else I would choose 4. But we're going to specifically talk about this one next, which is Promise Everlasting, which is one of his myth cards. If you ever decide to play the game and you're kind of indifferent to Zayne, I highly suggest playing his myth cards. I know we can't have all of them. I don't even have all of them because I wasn't there when, you know, the original 3 were released, when their myths would have been released, because like I said, I started playing around the time Silas came out. But they've done reruns for Raphael during was it right before or right after his birthday? And they did a rerun or I guess we're doing a rerun right now for Xavier. So I'm kind of hoping they're doing his Lumiere one. So I'm kind of hoping that means maybe we'll get Zayne next. Hope they continue to do reruns of a lot of the cards. I don't know how many they will do or which ones, or if it will just be the myth cards or what. But my hope is that they do more reruns of cards. Because one, I think it would be a great way, I know this is like a side tangent, I think one would be a great way for the animators and the production team to have more time to work on new cards while also providing, like, them still making money. From like a business standpoint, they would still be able to make money because they're, I think in one of Kaylee's videos, she mentioned they were like, that they had just hit like 1.5 billion like players for the game, which is absolutely crazy for an Otome game. Like, listen, I remember when Mystic Messenger came out. Yes, I'm one of those girlies. I played Mystic Messenger. Really, we ran out of tape right now. I bought tape and I bought refills recently. I was prepared. I always feel like I'm like, I don't have my tape, and so now we have to use this glue stick that I hate in all my journaling videos. But no, I'm prepared for once. But yeah, I think it would be a good, like, from a business strategy standpoint, I think it would be very good. Would it be good for our wallets? Not necessarily. I try not to get memory. I get all of Caleb's, okay? I've just decided I'm trying to 100% Caleb. We're not talking about Caleb. We're not talking about Caleb. But for Zayne, Xavier, though I am a little bit tempted to pull for Xavier's current banner. I'm interested in his Lumiere lore, but also I am terrified of an OT5, if you will, drop happening at any moment. So, because for those, I skipped out on the 5 group one. I missed out on getting Zayne's because I didn't have much money at the time. It was the Valentine's Day one. And so I just made sure to get Caleb's, and then I just kind of like stopped pulling, and I've been bitter about that ever since. And so I want to make sure for the next like 5-star pull. Also, here's the, oh yeah, this is the one where he gives you the skill. He like makes it. See, it's so cute. Also, speaking of that, in my life journal, so when we had snow in Georgia, crazy, I know. At the beginning of January, I went and played in the snow, obviously, and because I was so excited about it, and I tried to make my own version of the seal. I don't know, I haven't actually made sure you can see this, but I made my own version of the seal because it's cute. But yeah, I just thought about that. Okay, moving on. But yeah, I hope they do that. I keep losing my train of thought. Okay, we're gonna go back to Zayne and his myth, and we're gonna stay on track. We're gonna talk about Promise Everlasting, which is technically, is the second part to his myth. For Zayne, in his past life, this is not really spoilery. He was what they call a foreseer, which is basically like a prophet. I think of him as like, if you think about like Greek mythology, he's kind of like a prophet. He lived in isolation from everybody else, and he was the only one that could talk to their god. And once a year, the king would send a tavern, a party, what do you call it? A scouting party? No, not a scouting party. You know, he would send people to go see Zayne. Zayne would talk to their god, who I can't think of his name right now, but he's an asshole, so he doesn't even fucking matter. And Zayne would bestow upon them a prophecy for the upcoming year. MC in this life is very sick, and she's basically dying. She's on the verge of dying. She's like, gods be damned, I'm dying, and I don't want to die at like such a young age. And so she decides to try to I guess not try, she does actually do it, but she essentially like sneaks in and tries to pretend to be the king's chosen prophet, if you will, like the one chosen to receive the prophecy. Zayne's not stupid, and he's like, yeah, no, you're not. Like, I'm not stupid. And she's like, oh shit, I didn't expect this not to work. And so she tries to just grab the protocore, which, like I said, is like, there's a whole bunch of, I'm not going into all the protocore, like ether core, all that kind of stuff, because I barely understand it and I play the game. But she's like, freak, he doesn't believe me, like tries to steal it, like while he's paying attention. But again, he has like these ice powers, and he's like, yeah, that's not happening. In order to be the foreseer, and as a result of having these powers, like he's basically been frozen in time emotionally, aging wise. Like he will never age, he will never grow, he will never feel emotions. He's very unbothered by it at first, of course, because it is an Otome game, and he's just kind of like, whatever, it's not my fault if you die. And she's like, bruh, that's kind of fucked up. But they end up striking a deal, and she ends up, there's this flower that's growing, which is very relevant later, and I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to spoil it for anybody that wants to play the myth. Also, I messed it up right here. We're gonna like just keep going. Yeah, there's this flower that's growing because he lives in like this like desolate ice wasteland, so like nothing grows, nobody sees him, he doesn't see anything other than like once a year when the king sends his like people to go receive the prophecy from him, and he becomes very obsessed and like fascinated with trying to make sure this flower, you know, is able to grow and continue growing here, you know, like in this wasteland. Basic MC is like, well, I know how to garden, do you want me to take care of it? And he's like skeptical at first. He was like, bitch, you just try to steal like from like, you just try to steal basically my magical powers from me that were bestowed onto me by the gods. Why should I trust you? And she's like, valid, you shouldn't, but also you should. And so they kind of struck up this deal, and she's like, perfect, now hopefully I can get him to let his guard down so I can steal it from him. Of course, you know, she does let him let his guard down, but she doesn't really have to steal it, we'll just say. And there's so much, like, there's a lot of depth to Zayne's myth that I really wasn't expecting. Like, I had known a fair amount of it before actually playing his full myth. Like, I've seen people talk about it online. I knew about the god and stuff, but actually playing it and seeing how all of it unfolds is truly something else, and made me really love Zayne, and he will always remain my second favorite. Honestly, for a second there, because I played his myth almost right after, not too long after Caleb got introduced, and so as I was like starting to be like, oh no, I think my favorite is actually Caleb. So like when that was happening, I played his myth, and it almost made me sort back, but there's something about Caleb. Yeah, we're not talking about Caleb in this video. I really suggest playing his myth if you are somebody that's kind of been like, I don't know how, like, I'm not really sure how I feel about him, or if I would like him in the game, or if I have any interest in him. Play his myth. If you play nothing else, play his myth. I think it's very fun. I think it's very cute, and yeah. That's my 2 cents on it. I also don't know how much to talk about it for each memory, because like I said, I don't really want to like give you all of, like, I don't want to spoil each all of the memories for you, but I also do want to talk about my favorite memories. I don't know, I guess if I knew how many of you actually play the game, and like how many of you that are gonna watch this don't actually play the game, it would help me decide a little bit better. Also, I think I kind of like that a little bit more, but I still want something over here. I will say though, with the memories, they're a little bit annoying to be able to play, because you have to do, like, there are multiple steps to playing them. So you have to level them up enough and earn these like little crystal shards in order to actually be able to play those specific cards, which drives me a little bit crazy, because I'm like, I just want to play it. So far of the myths that I played, which I've only played Zayne's all the way through, I started to play Caleb's because that was a recent event, and that like a 5-star memory event was to get his myth cards. I started to play them, but then I got like too emotional at one point, or like I got in my feels at one point, and so I stopped. I was like, I can't do this. I don't know, maybe we won't put anything down there, because we also need space to do the other thing that I want to do. So actually, we're gonna leave it at this for now. Actually, I think we're gonna go back to having this down here in this corner like this, and we're gonna leave these 2 up there, and we're gonna go with, also I put this too far over the wrong, I put this, no, don't leave the glue behind. Oh, freak. Okay, we're gonna try this again. And we're gonna try to cover up the glue later. Oh shit, why did I put that down? We're doing our best, okay? Because I do pull Xavier the most out of everybody. I would say Zayne, I pull, like, I would, oh gosh, why did I do it like that? I pull Xavier the most, Raphael the second most, then Zayne, I pull a decent amount, and then I would say Caleb and Silas, I pull about the same amount, which is about not at all. Like, I need so many of their cards. Not really Caleb, because I go a little crazy for Caleb, but Silas, there are so many cards of his that are like just in the standard banner, which I'm not going into all the pulling and stuff in this video, because I had to watch videos when I first started playing on like how the gacha system worked and like how to use the gacha system, because it didn't make any sense to me. Also keep that in mind when like I talk about some of my favorite Zayne ones. I'm only going to talk about the ones that I own and that I physically have like played, because there are some. I'll put up the two that I specifically really want to play for him. The ones that everybody talks about for Zayne that I don't have because I wasn't in the game at that time, that I would literally die for to play. Like, I would lose my mind to play those right now. Also, this might not work quite the way I wanted it to. This might be too big still. But let's see. So we talked about The Promise Everlasting. Which one should we talk about next? Let's talk about... That was one of his 5-star. Let's talk about one of the 4 stars, and then we'll do the other 5-star later. We'll do this one. So this one is a little bit different. This one is not like an actual memory in the sense of like, it's not something you play like the other 3 are. Like, it doesn't have any animations. This is an audio. And I have a love-hate relationship with the audios. Kaylee mentioned it in her video. Okay, this didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. And it is, in fact, too big. So we're gonna try this again. We're gonna... Like I said, Kaylee mentioned it in one of her videos, too. I think it was in the Silas one. There are audios in Love and Deep Space, which the audios in of themselves are not bad. Like, that's a really fun part of the game, in my opinion. They get the voice actors to do these little audios where it's just like whichever love interest that you're playing for essentially just talks to you. It's not playing, you can just put it on in the background. It's kind of like a podcast, if you will. And they usually have some sort of theme. So this one is one of the ones with a theme. Essentially, the theme is that you and Zayne had gone out on a mission and ended up having, you know, there were wanderers present, and so you guys ended up having to fight, and he essentially gets hurt, and you have to doctor the doctor, and he's like, "Grr, I don't need help because I'm Zayne and I'm a doctor and I got this and I'm perfectly fine." But you end up, you know, helping him, and he's very soft and sweet and nice about it, and it's just very cute and very wholesome. And it's one of my favorites audios for him. It's probably my favorite. I mean, obviously it's my favorite audio of him, at least for, again, of the ones I have. I don't know, there might be better ones. Something that I really enjoyed about this audio was it's one of the first times that you get to, I love when you get to take care of the other person, like, and because it's like a romance game, like, they're always like the ones like meeting your needs and taking care of you and protecting you, but I'm like, let me return the favor. Like, let me also care for and protect and take care of you. And it's like one of the first and really one of the only times you can like return the favor to Zayne and take care of him, because again, he is a doctor. He is constantly like, and he's also specifically your doctor, which is definitely a HIPAA violation, but we're not gonna focus on that right now. But he's definitely like always wanting to take care of you, like constantly being like, did you do this? Did you do this thing I told you to do? Why are you doing this? And you don't really get to, or at least not very often do you get to also take care of him. Gosh, I did it too. Bruh, do I not remember how to make snowflakes from like when we were kids? I really thought this was going to be so much easier, because now they're too small. This was going to be so easy in my head. I was like, we're just going to make these cute little snowflakes, and this is going to be so easy. It's not. It's not. It's much harder than I remember. Let's try this. But yeah, so it's very sweet in my opinion. I don't think this one's very suggestive. Some of them can get very suggestive, and some of them are otherwise just like sweet and wholesome. I think this is one of the ones that is just really sweet and wholesome. But like I said, Kaylee mentioned it in one of her videos, and I also agree. One of the what am I doing wrong? One of the kind of weird things, or kind of like not my favorite things about the audios, and honestly the game as a whole, because it's not just in the audios that they do it in like several aspects of the game. They breathe a lot, which isn't bad, but they're like and it's weird. Like that part takes me out a little bit. I'll be like, I'm sorry, nobody breathes like that while they're talking. And if they are, I'm like, are you okay? Like, are you winded? Like, do we need to sit down? Like, bestie, are you sick? Do you have COVID? Like, oh my God. And so sometimes when they do that, it's just like, I'm like, please stop. Please, for the love of God, stop. And they do it a lot in the audios. I don't think they do in this particular audio, or I don't think Zayne's voice actor does it a lot in this audio. I don't blame the actors either, like the voice actors. I think this is just something that Infold like asked and requested of them for whatever reason to do when they were acting out these characters, because they all of them do it. It's not like one voice actor doesn't and like the other ones don't. And why does Zayne's voice actor do it but not like Silas's? They all do it for whatever reason. So I think it was like a request by Infold, but I'm just like, why? Why must we breathe into my ear so heavily? Especially like when you have headphones in, it's even weirder. I'm like, please, no. You know what? I think I figured out what the problem is. But I still suggest like doing the audios if you play the game, even if they're gonna breathe in your ear, because the audios are just like cute, and they're where you get most of like the boyfriendy content, I would say. Some of the memories, of course, yes, but I feel like the memories are also more like plot and stuff than just like boyfriend core. And it's fun because with the audios, you don't actually have to play. Like, you can just do something else and have them on in the background while you like, kind of like an audiobook, I guess, is actually a better way to describe them. No! This is not working! What the hell? I'm glad I brought a lot of paper. Bruh, we did this in like grade school. Why can't I figure out how to freaking do this?
2 hours later. One eternity later.
This is more of what I wanted. Except for it's too big. Fuck. I can talk again. I learned how to make snowflakes. I didn't know that was something I had to teach myself how to do today. I really thought this was going to be super easy. Kind of crazy. But I made 2. The desk is a mess. So we've talked about these 2 memories. That's why I put them on here already. We have 2 more to talk about. And thus 2 more snowflakes to make. And now that I know how to make them, I can talk again. Let's talk about Absolute Zell, Zayne's version of what everybody calls the spicy cards. They are definitely suggestive. I guess not even suggestive, like, we know what's going down. I actually really like this card for a couple of reasons for Zayne. It's not necessarily for the, like, spice aspect of it. Like, I don't know. I don't play this game for that necessarily. Like, occasionally it's fun, and it, like, as the name it would imply, it spices things up. My favorite thing about this game is like seeing how like your relationship with each of the characters kind of like changes and develops as new memories come out, and you know, you learn new things as you go throughout the game. And this is one of those cards where I feel like, especially for Zayne, it was one of the, maybe not the first, but one of the first that I played, where you can really start to see this, like, I'm more than just a doctor Zayne, if that makes sense. Because like I said, he is very, even in this reincarnated life, he still has like a hard time showing emotion. And it's not because he doesn't want to, but he's still basically learning how to do it. This is one of those few times I feel like where he just really lets his guard down slightly because he's intoxicated, because apparently this man cannot hold his liquor at all. And by can't hold his liquor, he literally had a singular chocolate.
I'm not drunk. Let's go home. You're burning up. Do you have a fever? Impossible. I have never gotten a fever before. I'd melt if I did.
Miss, how much did your boyfriend drink? Make sure he doesn't throw up. The fee will be $500 if he does it in the car.
That happened to have some alcohol in it and he lost it. But it has to do with his evol because, you know, alcohol makes you hot-blooded or like makes you warm. And so because the nature of his evol is to be cold, it like is more effective on him than it is to the average person because he's meant to be cold. And so yeah, he just really starts to let his guard down and it's just so like unlike him, and it's just really nice to bear witness to, if you will, because it's not something that we get to see very often from him. More so, I feel like recently, like there have been a lot more cards where he is playful and joking with you, and he's just really like, he cares so much. Also, this card is like really funny. It's one of the times where you get to see like him be funny and joke. Like, because of his intoxication, he can't remember the pin to his like house because they like have the keypads. Ooh, this one turned out really nice.
Incorrect passcode.
I'm fine.
And then, of course, the steam is fun too. I enjoy the little steams. I wouldn't say Zayne is like the freakiest of them. I don't know. I've read actual smutty and romance books that are much more freaky than Zayne. Zayne's are very sweet. Like he is always a gentleman. He will always be a gentleman. It is his first most duty. He is not meant to be a freak in the sheets. If you want a freak in the sheets, apparently that's Xavier. Go that way. Well, Silas too. You could go that way too. But I really enjoy it. Also, you don't have to play any of the spicy cards. There are plenty of non-spicy cards. Also, everything is faded to black. It's not like everything is not fully animated. Though some people want it to be fully animated. They want them to make the app just like 18 plus and fully animate everything. I do not. I don't know. That just seems I don't know. I don't want that. I'm happy with it being the way it is. Though I do think if we're gonna have as many spicy cards as we've been getting, maybe 14 plus is a little too generous of a rating of a age demographic. But I don't know if that also is a cultural thing, like if it varies from like place to place. If it's just like here it's 14 plus, but like maybe somewhere else it would be considered like, I don't know, 18 plus, 21 plus, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I don't know all that that's like the getting into the bureaucracy. I don't know all that. Yeah, I really enjoy that card for those reasons. It's fun, it's sweet. It's sweet, but it's also like, you know, a little spicy, a little fun, a little different than what we normally get from Zayne. And the other thing that reason that is one of my favorite cards, that's kind of when Kaylee started playing and when me and Kaylee started like talking and hanging out too and conversing about the game. And I remember her sending me videos of her doing this playthrough of her playing Zayne's, and it was so funny and it was so cute and it made me love Kaylee so much. And so it also just has like this like positive memory associated to it with me, and I am a sentimental hoe. So like if anything has something like that, it's automatically like 1,000 million times better. This is what I've been wanting, something small and cute like this entire time. Except for now that I look at it, I almost think it's too small. Oh well. I'm not making any more. I'm tired of these damn snowflakes. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. But yeah, so anything that has like a sentimental attachment to it is gonna automatically have to be a favorite for me. So I regret gluing everything down now because I kind of need to stick some of these under here. This process has turned out to be a lot more of a pain in the ass than I was expecting it to be. the last one we have to talk about is Steamy Proximity. This one sounds way spicier than it is. It's not really spicy at all. It's very cute and it's very fluffy. And I absolutely freaking adore it. This is one of those ones where you didn't have to get it from a gacha. They do these things where essentially like you can do certain tasks. You have 58 usually, sometimes 60 actually. I think it starts at 60 days to like complete this task, this like list of tasks, and I'll put a picture of the one that's currently up. I already finished it. Caleb was a part of this one that's this current campaign of going on. This was the one before this one with Caleb had Zayne in it, and so I did the little, you know, I did the quest or whatever it is you want to call them, so I could get this Zayne card, and you get it. You do have to pay a little bit to get it because when you do it, it's not just like automatic. You have to like unlock a second, like a part of it, and that costs, I think it only cost a couple dollars though, because I usually pay for it, and even before, like, it was just that I spent money on Caleb. I think it's like $4, but you have like 58 days, and you have all these, like, it comes with other things too that are like really helpful and beneficial in the game. So I personally think it's worth it, but if you're not like big into the game, obviously it's not worth it for you. But this was the one that Zayne had, and I actually like Zayne's a lot more than I liked Caleb's. They were both kind of like the same premise. You end up having to like take a shower in it, but not together, like separately. And so, but the point of it is so you see them come out of the shower, basically. Like it's a fan servicey kind of one. But the thing that I loved about Zayne's in particular is, again, like I said, is we're starting to see this like more fun and silly side to Zayne, not just like this like stoic doctor. We're starting to see him tease and stuff, and so he it starts off with him like teasing us, because essentially like he's like, oh, I thought you like, how's your nap going? And you're kind of like lying to him. You're like, yeah, my nap is great, even though you're not taking a nap at all. Like, you went on a hunter's mission and you are like literally in the train station, and you're just like kind of like, yeah, like my nap is great, like I can't wait for our date tonight, like it's gonna be so great. And he's like, yeah, what are you gonna wear, like, or how, like, what are you doing at the house? And she's like, you know, oh, just this and that to get ready. And he's like, interesting, because I see you right in front of me at the train station. And she's like,
That was quick. Didn't you say you were going to sleep until 4 p.m.? Did you wake up early? That technically counts as being healthy, I suppose. Good job. This morning. I hear a lot of background noise on your end. Really? What show are you watching? There's no rush. I also had to go on a business trip this morning. I'll be back around the same time as you. Actually, I believe we'll be seeing each other very soon. You're so immersed in your TV show that I ended up being part of the cast.
It's like one of those like, ow moments. You know, you start talking and he was like teasing you for like trying to lie to him and being caught, or it was classified or something like that, because sometimes they're classified and it's like, I can't tell you what I'm doing because it's classified. That's more so with Caleb though. Caleb, everything is classified, and I'm just like, boy, if you don't shut up and tell me. Also, I don't know, this was cuter in my head. I'm a little disappointed, especially after all that work it took to make these goddamn fucking snowflakes. But yeah, so you meet up and he's like, well, since we're both here, do you want to just go ahead and start our date instead of like going home and then like meeting up later? And you're like, yeah. But as you say yeah, you start to kind of like cough and sneeze. And he's like, are you sick? And you're like, no, I'm not. He knows what's wrong and he kind of tells you, but also doesn't. And you guys end up going to like a hotel and he's like, you need to shower it immediately or else you're going to get like really sick and then we're going to have to go to the hospital. And I don't think you want to go to the hospital. And I have to explain to the hospital like about your secret, not secret mission. And she's like starting to freak out. She's like, oh my God, yes, no, I don't want to do that. And like, you know, like I have legal jurisdiction because, you know, it was for like the Hunters Association, so she was working, but she's like, ah. And so they go to a hotel, she takes a shower, and she gets out, and he's like, do you feel better? She's like, yeah, I feel so much better. He was like, yeah, you were having an allergic reaction. And she was like, I thought I was dying. He was like, no, like, it's not life-threatening or anything, but he was like, but you need to, like, remove it from your, like, body and your clothes immediately. And he was like, and since you were the one that started with the lying today, I figured I'd just play along. And she was like, boy, like, really? And it was just cheeky. It was very cheeky for Zayne, who's very like stoic and not very cheeky. And I was like, boy, if you don't shut up. And it was just cute. And then you have this like really cute and like wholesome moment of him being like, plus it doesn't matter like what it is or what, like how serious it is, I'll like always take care of you, and like I'm your doctor, like I'm not just a doctor, but I am your doctor. And I'm just like, oh, Zayne, stop it, I can't handle this, man. So yeah, it was very cute. It was very wholesome. I'm trying to cover up some of these glue marks from earlier when we moved the other thing, and I just really enjoyed that one. I don't always love the ones they do in that, like the non-gacha ones, because I don't know, those ones sometimes they are like we'll talk about this one probably with Silas, but like the little makeup like spa date one with Silas was really cute, but that one was like its own, like it was a free one that they just gave us. If you like just logged in, you had to log in for like 5-10 days, something like that. I don't remember. I did it. I was like, psh, if all I gotta do is log in and I get a free one, because again, you usually have to do gacha and like, you know, pay for them. I was like, I will do it. And so obviously I did, and I really like that Silas one. It's probably gonna be one of the ones featured in like my favorite Silas like cards. Yeah, so that's the steamy proximity one. That's this last one with Zayne. And those are all my favorite Zayne, or like those are my 4 favorite Zayne memories. I don't know if this came out very coherent because like I said, I usually don't actually like talk these journaling videos. Also, the desk looks so freaking chaotic. Like usually in journaling videos I do a voiceover, but I really wanted to talk for this one since, I don't know, I just felt like more authentic, and Kaylee was talking like real time as she was decoing. I wonder how long I've been filming though. I think it's been a couple, like an hour at least. I really thought this was going to take me like 30 minutes, 40 minutes at most. And I really don't know if I like the page, is the sad part. Ugh, the snowflakes were such a pain in the ass. But I specifically wanted to do them on book pages because Zayne's a doctor and he's always like reading and like reading research articles and studying and stuff like that. So I thought that would be cute. And plus I always use books pages in my spreads, so it's very authentic to my brand, I feel like, for me to have used a book page here. Maybe we can find some snow stickers or something. I don't really have a lot of wintry type stickers, I don't think. I had some snowflakes, but I already used them for the Zayne page I made earlier in my journal before me and Kaylee decided to do the little collab. Which I think that page honestly turned out better than this page. Where is it? Like this one, I think it turned out much cuter than this one did. Ugh. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. It is the way of the journaling. Oh, I do have these like winter-esque stickers from Hedda. Maybe we can use some of these little sparkles on this one. Bunnies aren't really Zayne's thing. Zayne's thing is more, again, the seal. And he's also like the snowman. but these are like snowy bunnies, so maybe it will work. Specifically want to use like this one, that one, and this one. Maybe not on this page. Maybe this page is too full. Maybe we don't use this one. Okay, definitely not the best spread I've ever made. I don't think it's the worst spread I've ever made, but it is what it is. I think that's about all that I have for this one. Oh my god, my journal is so chunky now. That added like a whole bunch. It's probably because the cards are pretty thick. But yeah, that is all for today's journaling video. That is all for this Love in Deep Space video. And I will see you guys in the next one I'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to do, I think the next video is actually going to be Silas's video. I'm trying to catch up to Kaylee. She is obviously much more ahead of me because she's been doing this for longer. But yeah, that is all for today's video. Here is my chunky journal. But yeah, that's all. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And until the next time, I hope you guys stay happy, stay healthy, and keep journaling. Bye guys!